Hey, it's Aaron. Today I want to talk another coffee and an odd car. This time, the Goggomobil. I assume that's how you say it. It's German or something like that. Gaga, Gogo, Gugo, something like that. Anyway, the Goggomobil, that's what I'm going to use. TL specifically, so that's the transporter. Um, Back in the day, Goggomobil kind of made a name for itself by making micro vehicles. But the first micro vehicle to really catch on was the TL, which was their delivery van. This was a tiny, tiny little van, but it was super popular, especially in Europe with postal services, things like that. The German Postal Service bought a bunch of these. They also sold to a lot of kind of delivery companies and people like that. A few were imported to the US. There was a US version. So in Europe, it was the TL250, which had a 247cc engine, and it was an odd little straight twin air-cooled thing with a 4-speed manual transmission, and it was two-stroke. In the US, it was the TL400. It had an automatic oil delivery system, so it was still a two-stroke, but you didn't have to mix the fuel, and it had a 392cc engine in it. It was a really cool little truck. There's lots of these around in collections. Usually they are nostalgically painted with fun things, like there's one that has that is a Pez delivery one. There's one for like a dairy company or something. But there's some really neat ones out there. This was made just for a few years, so nobody's 100% sure how many in total were made globally. Shipped to the US, there weren't very many, in the hundreds. In Europe, there were as many as 6,000 of these made, but nobody knows for sure. What we do know is that about 2,000 of them were made for the German Postal Service, and that there was another large corporate order for about 800 of them, and then the civilian market bought several of these for single use or for home ownership. They had double sliding doors. The front doors were both slide-in doors, and then a double back door like this. You could get them in various configurations. There was even a truck version made that was didn't sell very well. There weren't very many of them made, but it was an option for a little bit. And they were sold to cities, which would buy, small towns would buy a handful of these, 2 or 3, maybe 5 of them. They'd use them for like all-purpose, like garbage trucks, street sweepers, and so on. So there were lots of them out there, but a lot of them ended up in junk piles because they were just driven until they were dead and they were just destroyed. But these are highly collectible. Here in the US, at auction, you'll pay over $100,000 for one of these if it's been restored, and you'll still pay a pretty penny if it hasn't. And then good luck finding parts. But really cool little piece of automotive history. These things are really, really fun. I mean, just look at it. It's just so hilarious. I would love to have one of these. So yeah, the Goggomobil TL. That was our coffee and an odd car. All right, see you next time. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.